Green Bay Packers are looking to fix one major problem, the defensive interior. And now, two free agent nose tackles are being linked to the team. Why? Because of the connection with new defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Gannon's system depends heavily on a strong run-stopping presence, someone who can control the middle, someone who can free up the linebackers. The Packers struggled at times against physical rushing attacks last season, so adding a veteran nose tackle could be the missing piece. This move is not just about defense, it's about becoming a complete contender again. If Green Bay lands the right player, their defense could take a major step forward in 2026. The Green Bay Packers enter the upcoming season with a sense of cautious optimism, driven by the belief that their young core is finally beginning to mature into a legitimate contender. Yet within that optimism lies a clear understanding inside the organization that talent alone does not guarantee championships. And one of the most pressing weaknesses exposed over the past year was the inability to consistently control the line of scrimmage on defense. Against more physical opponents, the Packers occasionally found themselves pushed backward, their linebackers forced into difficult angles, and their defensive structure compromised by a lack of interior dominance. That reality has fueled growing speculation that the team could look toward veteran help in the free agent market, particularly at the nose tackle position, where two potential options have emerged due in part to their connection with defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Gannon's defensive philosophy has always emphasized structure, discipline, and the importance of controlling space before chasing explosive plays. His system is not built around reckless aggression, but rather calculated pressure created through alignment integrity and gap responsibility. For that philosophy to function at its highest level, the presence of a true nose tackle becomes essential. A true nose tackle does more than occupy blockers. He reshapes the geometry of the offensive line, forcing double teams, compressing running lanes, and creating cleaner sight lines for second-level defenders. Without that kind of presence, even well-designed schemes can collapse under physical offensive attacks, and that is precisely what Green Bay hopes to avoid moving forward. The potential addition of a veteran nose tackle would represent more than just a roster upgrade. It would signal a philosophical commitment to defensive balance. Over recent seasons, the Packers have invested heavily in speed and versatility, particularly on the edges and in the secondary. But football games in January are often decided in the trenches, where weather conditions worsen, offensive strategies become more conservative, and physical endurance determines outcomes. By strengthening the interior defensive line, Green Bay could significantly improve its ability to dictate tempo rather than react to opponents. That control becomes especially important against division rivals who rely heavily on the running game to establish rhythm and manage clock possession. There's also a developmental dimension to this conversation that extends beyond immediate performance. Younger defensive linemen often benefit tremendously from practicing alongside experienced veterans who understand leverage, hand placement, and situational awareness at an elite level. The presence of a seasoned nose tackle could accelerate the growth of Green Bay's emerging defensive talent, creating a ripple effect across the roster that improves depth and flexibility. Coaches frequently emphasize that competition breeds improvement, and introducing a proven interior defender into the rotation would elevate practice intensity while providing insurance against injuries over a long season. From a strategic standpoint, strengthening the run defense would unlock additional possibilities for Gannon's play calling. When coordinators trust their interior front to win early downs, they gain the freedom to deploy more complex coverage disguises, simulated pressures, and blitz packages on passing downs. That tactical freedom can transform a defense from predictable to dangerous, forcing opposing quarterbacks into hesitation and mistakes. Turnovers, after all, are rarely random. They are often the product of sustained pressure and confusion created by disciplined defensive execution. If Green Bay successfully upgrades the nose tackle position, the downstream impact could extend far beyond stopping the run, potentially influencing sack totals, interception opportunities, and overall defensive efficiency. Looking ahead to the competitive landscape of the conference, the importance of defensive toughness becomes even clearer. Many of the league's most successful teams have built identities around physical dominance combined with explosive offensive playmakers. To match those contenders, the Packers must demonstrate they can win games in multiple ways, whether through offensive firepower or defensive resilience. A reinforced defensive interior could allow them to control close contests late in the season, particularly in cold weather environments where running the football and stopping the run remain timeless advantages. Financial considerations also play a role in the evaluation process. Free agency always involves balancing cost against projected impact, and front offices must determine whether a veteran signing aligns with long-term roster construction plans. However, when a team believes it is approaching a championship window, targeted investments in key positions often become justified risks. For Green Bay, the calculation may ultimately revolve around whether strengthening the defensive interior can elevate the entire roster from competitive to truly dangerous. Fan perception adds another layer to the narrative. Supporters have watched the team evolve through phases of rebuilding and retooling, and expectations naturally rise when young players begin showing promise. The possibility of adding an experienced defensive anchor resonates with fans who understand the importance of physical football in postseason environments. Optimism grows not just from individual signings, but from the sense that the organization recognizes its weaknesses, and if the Packers ultimately secure one of the linked free agent nose tackles, the move could be interpreted as a statement of intent, reinforcing confidence among the fan base that management is committed to building a balanced contender rather than relying solely on offensive development. Ultimately, the conversation surrounding Green Bay's interest in nose tackle upgrades reflects a broader truth about team building in professional football. Success rarely comes from isolated improvements. It emerges from interconnected strengths that reinforce each other across all phases of the game. A stronger defensive interior supports linebackers, enhances pass rush efficiency, stabilizes situational defense, and contributes to time of possession advantages that benefit the offense. In that sense, the potential signing of a nose tackle is not just about filling a roster hole, but about shaping the identity of the team moving forward. As the offseason unfolds, the Packers' decisions at this position may offer one of the clearest indicators of how seriously they intend to pursue contention in the coming year, and whether their evolving roster is ready to take the next step towards sustained success.